Alright guys, welcome back. You're watching the Gigabyte qualifier, and I'm joined by Puri, who's going to be casting at least one best of three with me, our first best of three of the day at TaeJa versus goswser2. I think this tournament is called the Gigabyte Cup, but it has a few names, to be honest. It's a bit confusing, but yeah, overall I would say Gigabyte Pro League or Cup. Suits better.
Gigabyte Pro League 2013.
Yeah, but I heard Gigabyte Cup before as well, so I'm not sure which one is actually correct. And
I don't know what happened there.
Somebody dropped out of the game, so we're gonna be re-roasting here in a second. goswser2 taking the first map versus TaeJa in a very convincing fashion here, with some nice roaches drop on top of the army of TaeJa against TaeJa's mech play. I don't know, TaeJa looks so crisp from the start, and then suddenly he traded pretty evenly against this army of goswser2, and goswser2 just remaxed on roaches and basically killed TaeJa. It was such a weird game. I did not expect this to happen at all. What do you think? He could have done better? Maybe a couple turrets, couple mines?
Definitely. Well, he maybe not sacrificed the Vikings. Like, he done some nice economic damage, got a queen and stuff like that. But if he had more anti-air, he could have, of course, lowered the overload count that was headed towards him. Maybe some Thors, because, you know, splash damage, stuff like that to the overloads once they stack, and of course they were anti-air. But I don't really know. It was like the roaches were just dropped on top of the units, and like roaches, they had actually quite a good trade because it was just hellbats and tanks. But that was like, I didn't expect it to go so well for goswser2.
Can you join the game, please?
Yeah.
Our second map will be on Newkirk Precinct. And if there is a map where TaeJa wants to try mech, this is one of them as well. I do think that mech is perfectly doable on this map, where you can actually split the map. Remember Bomber's game in MLG against Zerg on this map? Against goswser2 actually it was, I think. You remember?
No, I don't know. From MLG Dallas, yeah?
Yeah, they split the map, and then basically they were having fun trying to trade with like super cost-effective units like Vipers or Ravens.
Yeah, and Bomber had medevacs at the end of it, didn't he? He was just flying around trying to get... Is that one? There was a couple of games that were like an hour long on Newkirk. But this map really gives a split situation quite easily.
Yeah, if one of the players want to and tries to turtle, it's going to be really hard to attack into him most of the time. But I guess this is more true for TaeJa, because if he starts making sensor towers and lots of tanks, it's going to be very hard for goswser2 to attack. But the other way around does not really work, because the only way goswser2 could really turtle would be like with lots of spines, and I guess with swarm hosts, which are not the best versus Terran, as opposed to against Protoss.
And like, touching on that, what I find really interesting is like, you rarely ever see a Zerg take their third base as the one just in front of their main and their natural. It's always the one like up to the right if we're looking at goswser2. Whereas TaeJa's gonna take his third in front of his natural, like guaranteed, you know, and you can siege it up. You can have a really hard defensive point, and like, I've seen Zergs pretty much take that base just in front of their natural like completely last, because it's so hard to defend. You don't have a concave, a defensive concave. The defensive concave, the offensive concave goes to the attacker much easier, and things like tanks are really going to lock that down. So I find that really interesting on this map.
But I think if Zergs are really good at flanking, they will not mind as much, because like, you can go all the way around and, you know, attack from behind, and then with the reinforcements go from the one choke where there is the base and the units behind. So anyway, TaeJa in this game, he's not going to go for the very quick command center like he did in the previous game. He's going to open with a refinery shortly after his barracks. We might see some Reaper opener here into maybe a command center.
It's looking like it. The gas timings are really close. And for anyone wondering, of course, like, if you want to go Reaper with, you know, a very fast Reaper, you have to get it within about 10 seconds of your barracks being dropped, because otherwise the gas timings just don't line up. Because of course you don't want like dead time on your barracks not producing anything to begin with. So this is why you always see the Reaper, the gas get taken super fast, and there's the Reaper getting added on, and the depot to complete the wall off. So TaeJa playing completely cool. And you're right, I think we will see a command center after this.
And goswser2, he went for the hatch first again, but this time he went for the very late drone scouts. Not sure exactly how he's timing this. He might know that there is a good chance he's going to face a command center first sometimes, or a Reaper, a quick Reaper sometimes, and that. Oh, actually, his drone almost getting into the main of TaeJa here. That was really close. And second Reaper has been queued. Will it be cancelled or not? It does not look so far. TaeJa might be going for the 2 Reaper opener here. Try to put some pressure, try to get some good scout on his opponent. And in the meantime, he's going to start his second command center directly on his central base.
Yep, and the drone does get taken down on its way back to the main base of the Zerg. So, of course, goswser2 now knows exactly what he's facing. He doesn't know that there is a second one or the command center is down. So it could be, you know, he could overreact. He might think it's one base. There is also a factory being dropped right next to the racks. So I'd imagine there'll be a reactor for that. And we will have a Hellion follow-up.
Yeah, as soon as he has enough gas, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts a reactor here. TaeJa trying to inflict some damage onto his opponent, trying to force Zerglings from being made instead of drones, and he's gonna kill quite a few Zerglings actually. That Reaper, he's got 1 Zergling kill, 2 Zergling kills, as well as a drone kill so far, and no third Reaper will be made. It's going to be just 2, basically guarding the front of the base of goswser2, maybe trying to stop some creep spread from happening here.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. And what I find really interesting about Reapers as well, if you like run up, target fire the Queen, run back, heal, and then, you know, go back and go for the Queen, you can sometimes get it, which is really a big deal for the Reapers if you can get a Queen. And you're right, you know, nothing's going to be able to escape the main base of the Zerg player without TaeJa knowing. And this really gives him a lot of map dominance. Oh, he's running into the main, getting a couple more Zerglings. There are a lot more on the map now.
The thing is, TaeJa he's denying scouting from his opponent so far in this game pretty well as far as Zerglings go. With those 2 Reapers, he's been the one putting pressure on. He's forced quite a few Zerglings and speeded off his opponent pretty early on. In the meantime, he's gone for a 3rd command center. He's going for Hellions on a reactor factory now. Behind this, he's gonna start a very quick steam. I wouldn't be surprised if he adds on either 2 engineering bases behind this or 2 barracks and starts pumping out lots of bioforces.
And that's awesome. Did you see that he brought back a meal that would have probably lost minerals? So it would just expire right in his mineral line. I thought that was awesome.
I did not catch that. But yeah,
I love,
like, they got really good at this. Look at this squad,
like
man. 2 Reapers and 4 Hellions. It's like the Mad Max squad.
I've seen this quite a few times. I can't remember from who, but this is a really, you know, potent build, especially if you have the Reapers first. But we do have a Zergling run by. There are 2 Hellions in the natural to deal with this. The rest are coming home to deal with it, and a few SCVs getting taken down, only 3. So that was not too worth it for goswser there.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to put some pressure on while buying some time, during which these Hellions and Reapers cannot inflict any damage to him. It was a bit of a life run by, you know, life always does those run by every time Terran leaves his base. But you know what, TaeJa is about to maybe head for another barbecue yet in this 2nd game against goswser2. He's basically, he has a choice here. He can try to go forward. I think he's just going to try to see what he's up against. Lots of Zerglings were about to surround him. He's going to have to react very quickly. Okay, I think he knows, yeah, those Zerglings cannot engage into him. goswser2 is going to start adding on roaches, and well, he doesn't have that many. Oh wow, trading 1 roach for a couple Hellions here, not too bad.
There we are, and that does get pushed back. Now TaeJa does not know about the 3rd base yet, so he's left that uncontested so far. And wow, roach will get I know, right? You'd never think that.
No, but TaeJa, he's making lots of bunkers right now. I think he's anticipating some huge all-in out of his opponent.
Oh, so that's really coming back to bite him. Ooh. So we have that. We also have the double eBay in the front of the walls. So of course, if that does get busted, it's not. But if it does, those upgrades could get cancelled. And TaeJa, yeah, that's a really big mistake not to scout that 3rd.
Yeah, the thing is, he saw lots of units when the Zerg is supposed to be making only drones, and I think he's most likely not as much the Zerglings as the roaches. He saw like an incredible amount of roaches. He saw like so many roaches, and he was like, "All right, I know what you're doing. You're all-inning me." And he threw down the bunkers, but he's soon going to realize that this is not actually an all-in. Behind this, goswser2 has been droning a little bit. Now he's resumed the roach production, and TaeJa should realize that soon.
Should know these Hellions, and Reaper will probably get surrounded there. They do finally, but they are in such a nice spot that the Zerglings are having a really hard time having a cost-efficient trade there. And wow, that was a lot of Zerglings for just a couple of units. Behind this, we do have 1-1 in production for our Zerg player. He is going for the +1 melee attack, so it looks like that is his tech route. And the lair is only now about finish up at 10 minutes 30, so that's quite a late lair compared to what we're normally used to seeing.
And TaeJa has already got Steam Pack. He has combat shields on the way now. He's gonna add his first starport to his production facilities. He's adding on a couple extra barracks. He's actually going to go for basically only reactors on his barracks, on his new barracks. He's going to be on 5 barracks total. He's deployed a complete minefield in front of his base here.
Holy crap, that is a lot of wood mines. So goswser2 is not going to want to attack into that for a little bit. And I find it really interesting that he's going for his third base up towards the top left. Probably because he's a little bit scared, as we could tell he thought some sort of all-in was coming. But yeah, I just find that very curious, because of course it's further from his main base and stuff like that. It's going to be harder to reinforce, to protect, etc, etc.
And goswser2, he has 1-1 about to finish here. I think he's going to hit a very big timing with this 1-1, but I mean, with all these mines, it's going to be so hard for him to make it work. Look at TaeJa, he's already starting to wall off a bunker at his third base. He has huge forces, but TaeJa is moving towards the middle of the map. Oh my god, he's going to have to realize very quickly what he's up against here. The army supply 70 for goswser2, 49 for TaeJa. And goswser2 is going to run into there. All the mines have been burrowed. But goswser2 can just dodge them. Or if he goes all the way down here and attacks into the natural of his opponent. Road speed is about to finish. Bailing speed as well. And goswser2 is going to need a great engagement here to be able to win this.
There's not that many widow mines without a cooldown, but goswser2 is not committing here, so he's not going to capitalize on his opponent's placement, and that could have went really, really well for him. It could have went really, really badly with some widow mine connections. But he's going for it again. The Zerglings running ahead. Some of them trying to get detonations on the mines, but they do get taken up by the bio army. And goswser2 not committing once again, and a stim is forcing the units to come back for goswser2, and this is allowing TaeJa to just take out units for free non-stop.
Yeah, so far he's been doing very well in those fights. Always burrowing the mines very rapidly and then moving back as soon as he has to, not to lose any units, to keep on stutter stepping and kiting those Zerg units. One medivac has been filled with 8 marines. It's not actually full hit points, doesn't have all that much energy, not a big commitment here, but I think TaeJa is going to want to drop the main, try to keep goswser2 busy, make sure he has to leave a couple units back at home. In the meantime, goswser2 is going for the Spire. He has 2 upgrades on the way for his melee units, and I think we might have some Muta switch here, as he does have about 1,000 gas saved up.
He does. And amazingly enough, TaeJa still hasn't even spotted the 4th base, let alone the 3rd, so this is really a little worrying. Now, supplies, he's actually a little ahead, so he's doing well, and this drop is just flying around, getting a good scout on the army of his opponent, while he was pushing up with the majority of it. Now, he does decide to pull back, realizing there's still a lot of forces. And we have 10 meters in production. That could actually catch TaeJa off guard. He is going bio, so he's not going to be in a terrible spot like if you have the last game where it was just tank hellbats. So there's no anti-air. So it's going to play out a little different, but this is going to be really intense.
And the Marines are about to engage into the Zerglings banelings. TaeJa needs to burrow the mines and pull back, but he does burrow a little bit late. Drilling claws are still being researched right now. goswser2 is going to engage. He has a lot of banelings morphing behind this. He needs to pull back now. He needs to wait for those banelings to hatch so that he can engage again. goswser2 on 170 supply, TaeJa on 143 right now. And goswser2 is going to get on the chase here. He's going to try to chase away those units, make sure he kills everything. Steam Pack is used. Medivac boost is used for TaeJa to try and escape. TaeJa, he sneaked away with 1 medivac filled with marines. He's going to try to drop it in the main, but goswser2 kills the entire army of TaeJa here. He might just go for the kill, then he would just have to hold at home, and he actually has a couple Zerglings back at home ready to defend against those marines.
He does. He doesn't have the loads, but with reinforcements he should be able to clean it up. But look at the wall around the bunker at the 3rd. That is not being broken. So goswser2 is going to commit towards the natural. Widow Mine's not blowing up on too much, and goswser2 is going to leave it at that and run back home with his entire army to deal with this drop, which I think is a bit of a misclick.
The drop has done so much damage already. Oh my god, those marines, they got insane kills. They've been killing drones, Zerglings, mutas, everything. They are finally going to get taken out. No, actually, no. He picks up and leaves. He uses the boost once, so we have a couple of mutas chasing. But if he drops now, he might be able to kill 1 or 2 of those mutas.
He should. It's not worth losing everything for nothing. A nice target fire as the Medivac drops, and everything does get cleaned up with just a little damage. Unfortunately, though, I do have to go.
All right, like, no problem, man.
Yeah, it's meant to start in 2 minutes. So thank you for having me, and good luck.
All right. Thanks to Fury for joining us. He did have to go and cast something else. Huge engagement here by goswser. 157 army supply against 145, but his army just looks that much stronger with all those banelings against this huge bioforce. TaeJa needs to pull back. He needs mines to support this bioforce that he has. He needs to pick up his units here to actually make sure he can leave. There aren't that many mutas, but those Zerglings slowly catching up to all of those marines. Great split here by TaeJa. He has a mine in position to maybe detonate and do lots of damage, but it blows up before, and he's going to need his planetary fortress to help clean up this force from goswser, who's gonna start pulling back. He knows he cannot engage with these few units left against the one planetary fortress here. goswser is permanently injecting, producing units. He's gonna keep up with the aggression, but TaeJa, he has 3-3 about to finish, and that's not going to be good for the Zerg player at all in this game. Ship Ladings level 2 is about to end as well. It's about to finish, and TaeJa is just gonna start a whole bunch of command centers. He wants to be a millionaire. The Walker supply ran of 70 SCVs to 77 drones. goswser ahead on the army supply with 93 against 75, but this 3-3 upgrade is so important. And goswser, I mean, he hasn't started 3-3. He's gonna be taking on this Terran army, fully upgraded one. I don't know why TaeJa's army seems so small. I think it was maybe a bit overly ambitious to start all these command centers. He needs lots of barracks to keep on producing units and help defend against this. But right now he's going to pull back behind his planetary fortress. goswser is going for the kill here. Does he have enough to kill all of this army plus the planetary fortress? It does look not bad actually right now. The planetary fortress is going to be repaired, but lots of damage are being dealt to this Roach and Mutalisk Baneling army. goswser still on lair tech, slowly going to start falling apart against those heavily upgraded marines. goswser was all in here basically. He had to do more damage. He had to weaken the economy of his opponent, but sadly for him, it's about to be Christmas for TaeJa with all of those command centers. He's just going to make them into orbitals and basically going to rain down the mules for infinite amounts of money. But TaeJa is fearless. He's moving across the map with... Actually, he has lots of mines. That explains it. Yeah, he's going to have to pull back now, right now. Lots of Zerglings for goswser are going to run into those marines. Oh my god, those detonations from those mines kill everything that goswser has. But I think goswser is going to call GG here soon. He cannot keep on fighting against this army of TaeJa with lower upgrades. His Roaches, they are only 2 carapace, no attack upgrades. Zerglings are 2-2. Mutas are 0-0. All of this against 3-3 Marines and mines with level 2 vehicle plating. So they take even longer to basically be killed. TaeJa securing himself another expansion. Another one over here is basically going to take his half of the map now. And there is nothing goswser can do about it right now. goswser is going to keep on massing those tier 2 units with the Baneling Zerglings Mutas. He's going to try to crush this army, this huge force of TaeJa here. But I mean, there is so many mines. TaeJa can just pull back and trade cost effectively. Even if he loses those units, he's going to kill too much before that. And actually the mines do detonate pretty early on here. And goswser trying to get rid of this army. I think he's going to be able to get rid of this wave. But what about the next wave? Look at how many. This is like a marine range here. Marine and mines range out of TaeJa. So many units coming out all the time. It never ends. And TaeJa is just so rich anyway. He's on 61 SCVs against 69 drones, but I mean, he can just rain down the mules on every single base and he's always gonna have money basically. TaeJa, he's made so many barracks this game. He can make lots of marines at once. He's even gonna start the high-sec auto tracking upgrade and the structure armor 1. goswser is gonna start lacking money. I think he's not on nearly as many bases as TaeJa is. He's gonna try retaking one of those top right hand side base, but I mean, TaeJa keeps moving across the map with forces that make goswser have to morph banelings all the time, and then they just end up trading. Not too bad for both players, I guess, but TaeJa ultimately is always going to get the better end of this because he's 3-3 and he's getting units faster than goswser. He's preventing goswsers from taking to tier 3, and GG. He's called 1-1 is going to be the score in this series. Guys, We're gonna have a short break and then we'll be right back with game number 3 of goswser versus TaeJa. Stay right here.